From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you all have been enjoying your Monday so far. It has been a very windy start to our week, and even yesterday was pretty much on the windy side. Some leaves are blowing around, maybe getting a little bit on the irritation side for you pool owners out there. I know you've probably been having to clean up some of that out of your pools lately, getting it ready for some hot weather, some warm weather, I should say too, for us coming in by the middle of this week. So we have those northerly winds out there, but you know what? It's still providing a nice breeze for spring cleaning. Open up the windows, just let it kind of come in and give some fresh air. So we have the pros and cons with these winds as we're heading throughout our day today. Nice view out there as we're looking out towards Mount Shasta as well as the Sacramento River. Just pretty refreshing. I love this camera angle. It's just really nice. You can just put it up and have a nice portrait indoors, as well as this is a pretty nice view out there at the Harbor District in Crescent City. Nice and sunny along the coast as well. So we're not seeing too many clouds out there for most of us. So it's a nice day to start off the week. Get that sunscreen out if you plan on doing any yard work today before we start to kind of warm up a little bit more by tomorrow into the middle of the week, but pretty nice as you're heading outdoors. Temperature is not feeling too bad, but we still have that red flag warning. So we're getting those winds coming in out of the north. It's been a little bit dry. We haven't seen too much rain across the region in quite some time. So it does bring our fire concerns up a little bit more. So take those precautions that we have to as we start to get more of this dry conditions as we're heading further into the week when we start to heat up a little bit more, as well as those winds will still be around for us as we're heading throughout today, even tomorrow, but they'll start to diminish as we head into the weekend. So we still have that fire weather warning for us until about 8 p.m. this evening for most of us across the area in central Shasta County. So that's including us here in Redding and also areas near Red Bluff, heading further down if you're traveling on I-5. We're getting those winds coming out of the north. So a little bit breezy as you're traveling, a little bit more of those high profile vehicles will feel most of those gusty winds coming through. And then looking out for any ways that we could avoid any fire weather. So chains dragging as well as you're traveling on I-5. So most of us are really not seeing that red flag warning across the region, but along the valley area is where we're seeing that extend all the way into Sacramento as well and making its way down the valleys as you're heading further through the state. So if you are traveling, just pay attention to any ways that you could help or avoid any of the spread of those fires, because it is pretty windy all across the state as well. But as we're heading throughout the week, again, mentioning that those winds will begin to calm down. Unfortunately, we do not have any rain in the forecast out there for us. So it does make us have that high fire danger to start off our week. Those strong north winds, as I mentioned, will start to diminish as we get into tomorrow, even into your Wednesday. So I know we're talking bad things about the north winds. Another bad thing, maybe it's making your allergies act up a little bit more. I know I've been noticing myself sneezing a little bit more, also throat kind of itchy as well. So blowing in all of that pollen and everything around, especially as we're getting those winds coming out the north. As I mentioned as well, we're going to start to warm up. So those winds will begin to calm down. I think we would need a little bit more of a breeze as we're heading into the middle of this week, because we could try to hit triple digits in the valley. So that is possible, but upper 90s are more likely. But good news is we will start to cool down a little bit more as we get into the weekend. Not cold, but cooler as you're getting into your weekend coming up this week. So a lot of things going on for us throughout the week as you're heading out today. Noticing lots of sunshine out there. We still have high pressure over us. Most of us in the valley are going to see a lot of sunshine out there. So sunglasses needed, as well as some nice sunscreen if you're outdoors. Upper 70s in Trinity County, 63 along the north coast, 70 degrees in Siskiyou, and just about Modoc County around 65 degrees, 67 in the eastern mountains. So I can't really complain too much about temperatures. They don't feel too bad out there, actually pretty pleasant as we're heading out. But we will start to warm up again. As far as any systems moving through, rain or anything like that for us, that is not in the forecast. Any travel plans within the last 12 hours? We got severe weather out there in the Midwest. So that system pushed through within the last 12 hours, making its way through Illinois and Missouri. And yes, that is some snow making its way through areas across the central parts of the country. Even north into Denver may get a little bit of some of those snow in the Rocky Mountains, but we're not worried about that too much. But it has been a pretty active week in the middle of the country. Some tornadoes even touching down in Nebraska. Looking at high pressure for us within the last 12 hours, we have lots of clearing over us right now. And those northerly winds, that high pressure system is doing a great job at directing those winds coming out of the north. And we are going to continue to see those winds come out of the north as we head into the middle of the week. But right now we will start to get a little bit more of those gustier winds until we head into tomorrow and Wednesday. We'll start to cool down a bit, but clear skies. You're not really seeing too many clouds out there. We'll get a little bit of clouds try to move in as we head into the middle of the week, but mostly sunny conditions for us. Looking at the winds right now as we're heading throughout our afternoon, we'll start to get more gusts. We have those gale warnings in some areas just along the coast. And then we will also start to see in the valley some of those stronger winds make their way, gusts over about 30, 35 miles per hour at times as we're heading. But notice as we get into Tuesday, winds do start to diminish a little bit more in the valley and across the eastern mountains. Still a little bit gustier along the coast, but we're not going to contend with too many of those gusty wind conditions as we get into the weekend. So that is good news. Unfortunately, with those gusty winds, as I mentioned, maybe that pollen and mold kind of blowing around, allergies may be a little bit more active as we're heading throughout our day today. Even into Tuesday, by Wednesday, hopefully things will start to clear up a little bit more, but that's when we get that heat moving in. So we got that warming trend on the way, but looking right now, moderate for trees and weeds. The grass very high and also mowed very high. So we are going to have some sneezy ones out there, especially if you're very sensitive to the allergy season, as those north winds will continue to push through as we head throughout the day today. As far as our highs go, mid to upper 80s, not too bad. It's not feeling too bad out there if you're heading out, just windy for us along the coast in the 60, 67 degrees in Trinidad. And we are going to feel temperatures just around 70s near the eastern mountains, 78 degrees in Hayfork and near Ruth. Nice conditions as we're heading into tonight. We're looking at mid 50s in the valley along the coast, mid to upper 40s. And we do have some 39s, low 40s in some locations in Trinity County. And then in the eastern mountains, 33 degrees in Chester. So clear skies, maybe a little bit cooler out there as you're heading throughout your evening and early morning hours. But we will start to feel temperatures rise as we get into the middle of the week, which will allow our evening temperatures to be a little bit warmer, maybe about 5 to 10 degrees in some locations for us. So let's go ahead and look at that warming trend that we are going to start to see as we're heading throughout the middle of the week. So we're already jumping up nearly 6 degrees as we head into tomorrow and into Wednesday, 94 degrees. By Thursday, we are already just about 13 degrees hotter from what we are going to feel today. So we will notice that difference. Some of us may even reach those triple digits. And then as we get into Friday, temperatures around 96 degrees in Reading. And then the weekend, we're going to cool back down about 5 degrees. So we won't hit the triple digits this weekend for most of us, but by the middle of this week, Wednesday or Thursday, that is possible. Also, our overnight lows will get a little bit warmer, as I mentioned. So today, nice and pleasant, and we'll get a little bit warmer as we're heading into the weekend, as well as areas just near Red Bluff. So take a look, 86 degrees. Then we do reach triple digits as we get into Thursday. So we are jumping up more than 10 degrees within the next couple of days. And that's going to raise some concerns if you want to get outdoors for some of us that are a little bit more sensitive to the heat. And for those getting that pool ready, the winds may be a little bit on the annoying side today. But it will be nice to take some relief and dip off in the pool as these temperatures do begin to rise as we get into the middle of this week. Chico, 87 degrees, and then we start to warm up about 92 tomorrow and 99 as you get into your Thursday. So temperatures are on the climb as we're heading across the valley. Good news is winds will begin to diminish, so fire danger starts to go down a little bit more as temperatures go up. But we will still have a nice breeze. I don't think the winds are going to disappear completely, but good news is as those temperatures are rising, we will still have a little bit of a breeze, just not as strong winds to raise too much of those fire concerns out there with these dry conditions. No rain in the forecast for us along the coast. A little bit more clouds will begin to move in though as we get into the middle of the week. We'll warm up as well, but generally staying into the 60s, may even hit into the 65, low 70 range along the coast in some locations. Trinidad may go ahead and hit into those low 70s possible or upper 60s as we get into Wednesday and Thursday as temperatures do begin to climb. So still some nice warm conditions out there, getting you out and about as we're making our way throughout the week. Inland area, mostly sunny conditions, jumping up into the 90s. So again, warming up a little bit more into the 10-degree range, higher than what we're feeling today for our high. And then we're also going to feel temperatures into the weekend into those mid to upper 80s. So a nice little wave pattern we got going on as we're seeing the temperatures begin to climb as we get into Weaverville, reaching into the 90s as well. 79 degrees, pretty pleasant out there. Breezy, of course, but then we start to get into the 90s. So that is going to be our warming trend into the weekend. We're not going to be too hot as we get into the weekend, but it will be nice to kind of get out and about with those 90-degree temperatures out there in Weaverville. Mount Shasta, 70 degrees today. We're jumping nearly 10 degrees as well as we're heading into Wednesday, 15 degrees into Thursday. So this warming trend will stick around, slightly cooler into the weekend, but not cold. But we are going to still feel those temperatures on the warmer side than what we're feeling today as well. So climbing up as we're getting into the weekend, 65 degrees in Alturas, and then we'll feel the upper 70s, low 80s as we head into the weekend as well. Susanville, upper 60s, overnight low staying generally into the 30s, mid to upper 30s, and then waking up pretty nice and crisp as you're starting off your day. Then we start to get warmer as we get into the middle of the week, upper 80s. A few of us can hit those low 90s, and then into the weekend, sticking into the mid to upper 80s. So some pretty nice conditions are on the way for us, contending with some of those winds today that may be blowing around leaves, and also some of that pollen out there for us, and allergies on the uptick. But we do have some warmer weather on the way if that's what you're looking forward to, getting those pools together. I know it's getting exciting. We're heading and gearing towards the end of the school year. So I know all the kiddos are getting excited for these warmer conditions. I know I was always excited during school time, and we got a little bit more warmth out there that just let me know that summer is right around the corner. And it looks like we're going to have a pretty nice weekend in store. So lots of plans. Get out and about, enjoy the weather out there, and I hope everyone has a fantastic afternoon.
When you see flashing lights, someone's life depends on us.
And while we're out helping crash victims, we need your help to keep us safe.
Move over, slow down, it's the law, it protects everyone.
Our crews are out here every day, keeping the roads safe for you and your family.
We're often the last ones on scene, and we want to make it home safe too.
Protect those who protect you, slow down and move over.